Hey, what's up, guys? I've had quite a few people in the past ask me if I could ever review episodes of Rebels, and I've always been kind of putting that off, and I don't know if I'm going to do it a lot, but the latest episode, Season 2, Episode 17, Shroud of Darkness, was really cool and raised a bunch of interesting questions, so I figured I'd give it a shot. We'll see how it goes and what you guys think of it. But let's talk about the episode. Now, if you haven't seen the episode yet, I will be spoiling it in its entirety, like all the spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode, do not watch this video. Right off the bat, the episode starts with a bang. We get Kanan and Ezra fighting the fifth brother and the seventh sister, and I really like their fighting style, the way they force push each other around. I like the way they work together, and building on that, when they escape through Ezra's use of animal control, I guess. I don't want to say control or manipulation, but his harmony in nature allows him to commune with animals, and they escape in that manner. And Kanan's look of pride at what Ezra has been able to do and how he's grown, I really liked that. Seeing a proud side of Kanan, where usually he's just seen chastising Ezra, it was nice to see a lighter side of their relationship. So after escaping the Inquisitors, Kanan wants to know why they're able to track them so well. So they meet the ghost out in the middle of nowhere, and Kanan and Ezra go to Ahsoka to start to develop a plan. And what's Ahsoka doing but watching a holocron recording of Anakin Skywalker? It's really nice to see and hear him again. I'm glad that they keep the same voice actors around to play these same characters. It's really great connective tissue, especially for fans of the Clone Wars. But the craziest part about that scene is that Ahsoka mentions having contact with Anakin after the Clone Wars series. The last time she saw him was right before Episode 3 when he's rushing off to save the Chancellor. That's kind of huge that they kept in touch somehow. I really hope they visit that further. I might have to tweet at Pablo and ask him what's going on there. But anyway, Kanan and Ezra and Ahsoka decide that they need some advice from Yoda, and they can go ask him at the Jedi Temple on Lothal, because that's where Kanan and Ezra had previously talked to Yoda. So they go back, and that's where this episode really starts to get into high gear, and we see all these different visions that are all very cool and interesting. So let's start with Ahsoka. She has a vision that seems to be very heavily inspired by guilt that she's feeling about leaving the Jedi Order. Maybe she feels responsible for the creation of Darth Vader. She knows in the back of her mind that Anakin became Vader, and maybe she thinks that her absence drove him to that she feels like she abandoned him when he needed her most. Meanwhile, Kanan has a vision with a Jedi Temple guard, and the Temple guard foreshadows maybe a lot of stuff, including Kanan's possible death, Ezra's possible fall to the dark side, and claims that Ezra needs to be destroyed before he can fall to the dark side. Kanan, of course, won't let that happen, and they fight until Kanan accepts the fact that he needs to let go and that he won't be able to protect Ezra forever. All he can do is his best to teach Ezra. And then the Jedi Temple Guard backs off and knights Kanan, and then takes off his mask and reveals that he's none other than the Grand Inquisitor, which that theory's been thrown around a little bit. Dave Filoni did say that we saw the Grand Inquisitor in the Clone Wars, so it makes sense that a masked figure would be his identity. But that kind of, to me, brings up a question of the legitimacy of Kanan now being a Jedi Knight. So I think we are to believe Kanan is now officially a Jedi, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, well, how legitimate is this? Because he was knighted by the ghost of a fallen Jedi in a dream? So it's just kind of weird. But on top of that, the Inquisitor seems to be remorseful. Like, is this really his spirit? Is this all just a vision? Does the Inquisitor regret falling to the dark side? Why did he fall to the dark side? It opens up a ton of questions, and I really hope we get some answers for those. And the last thing about about Kanan now being a full-on Jedi is he gonna die? Because one of the defenses people keep saying, like, oh no, Ahsoka and Ezra and Kanan, they don't have to die because Yoda said that Luke was the last Jedi and they aren't officially Jedi. Well, now Kanan is, so is that kind of a death sentence for him? We'll have to see, but very interested to see how this goes forward. The final vision was Ezra's, where he actually gets to talk with Yoda face to face. This conversation was very refreshing. Yoda actually admits that the Jedi lost their way. They were consumed by darkness and fear and anger, and he kind of agrees with Barriss Offee from the Clone Wars, which, I mean, I do agree that the Jedi weren't peacekeepers at all. That was what they were originally meant to be, and then they became generals. And I think it was very cool to see Yoda admit that, and admit that they were wrong. And he goes into all this, it's not important just to win, but it's important how you win. And I think that's why Yoda wants Ezra to see Malachor, because Ezra just wants to fight and kill and destroy the Inquisitors and Darth Vader. And Yoda's like, calm down, man. Go check out Malachor, because if it's anything like Legends, we're going to get to Malachor, and we're going to see the destruction of this planet that the Jedi brought on to win a battle. And maybe Ezra is going to realize that the Jedi aren't good inherently, that they can do terrible things just as the Sith can. I mean, that's a common theme in a bunch of war stories, so I think that would be very interesting and mature for Rebels to tackle, and I hope to see that soon. I hope we get to Malachor, and I have high hopes for all that. Like, we know there's a Sith holocron there. I'm just begging for, like, Revan to pop out of that. Just even if it's just for a moment and they say his name, just make him canon. That would be so wonderful. Anyway, I think those were all of the thoughts I had about this episode. I really, really liked it, and there was this one, the one before it was the Honorable Ones with Callus and Zeb. I thought that episode was great. It looks like this last little bit of season 2 is going to be just awesome, and I don't know if I'm going to keep doing these review episodes. I'd like to. I really want to do it in the future. It's mostly a matter of time. But hey, if you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments. Tell me what you liked about it, what you didn't, maybe what you'd like to see more of in the future. But as always, make sure to like, subscribe, and share to see new Star Wars videos every weekday. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.